I'm Caitriona Perry in Washington, and this is BBC World News America. Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro has pleaded not guilty to drug trafficking in New York, saying he had been kidnapped by US troops.
I'm Sumi Somaskanda at the Colombian border with Venezuela, and in Venezuela today, the interim leader, Delcy Rodriguez, was sworn in under immense pressure from President Trump.
President Trump again threatens to take Greenland from Denmark and warns of action against Colombia and other nations. Hello and welcome to the programme. Captured Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro appeared in US federal court in New York 2 days after he and his wife were seized by US forces. Maduro and Celia Flores pleaded not guilty to the charges, including narco-terrorism conspiracy and possession of machine guns and destructive devices. Maduro insisted he is still president of Venezuela and said the US had kidnapped him. His next hearing is scheduled for the 17th of March. Now, US President Donald Trump also threatened several other countries over the weekend after the raid that seized Nicolas Maduro. He told the Colombian president, Gustavo Petro, to watch his ass. Ben Chu from BBC Verify there. Lots more on our website, of course, on this developing story. You can keep across everything there. But that is it for World News America for today. I'm Caitriona Perry. Thank you so much for watching. Do take care. Bye-bye.
Now on BBC News, comprehensive coverage of the day's important national and international news stories. Newsnight.
After Venezuela, where next for the US president? How alarmed should Greenland, Colombia, Mexico and Cuba be? Meanwhile, in New York, former Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro appeared in court and said, "I am still president." Here, Sir Keir Starmer's response is under fire. Should he call out Donald Trump? Good evening, Happy New Year. This is Newsnight live from Broadcasting House. Insight and interviews on political media and international stories each weeknight. Hello. Those images of Nicolas Maduro, led shackled to his court appearance in New York, are being shown on websites, front pages and news programmes right around the globe. Meanwhile, the US president has repeated calls that the US needs Greenland, and Donald Trump has threatened Cuba and Colombia too. Tonight we're asking, which country is next? Let me introduce your Newsnight panel this evening. Co-founder of your party, Jeremy Corbyn, former Labour leader, as you know, now sitting as an independent MP. Vanessa Neumann is a key Venezuelan opposition figure. And David Rennie is geopolitics editor at The Economist. And of course, Nick is here too. Welcome to all of you. Vanessa Neumann, first of all, the US says what they did was law enforcement, that Maduro was a narco-terrorist, that he killed US citizens and was destabilising the Western Hemisphere. Is that enough justification for you? I'm going to pause you there because we are at the end of the programme. But thank you very much. Jeremy Corbyn, Vanessa Neumann, David Rennie, thank you. Nick and I are back tomorrow. That is it from Newsnight this evening. See you then. Bye-bye.
I'm Clare Richardson in New York, and this is BBC World News America. Nicolas Maduro has pleaded not guilty to charges, including drug trafficking, in a federal court in New York, saying he is still the president of Venezuela. Meanwhile, a new interim leader is officially sworn in to replace Maduro. But can Delcy Rodriguez please Donald Trump, as well as millions of Venezuelans?
I'm Sumi Somaskanda at the Venezuela-Colombia border, where many are worried about the political instability in Venezuela. This as the war of words between President Trump and Colombia's President Gustavo Petro continues to escalate.
And President Trump again threatens to take Greenland from Denmark, warning of action against Colombia and others. Welcome to World News America. I'm Clare Richardson. Captured Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and his wife, Cilia Flores, have pleaded not guilty to charges including drug trafficking at a court in New York. Now, around the world and across the UK, this is BBC News. You're live with BBC News. Venezuela's capital, Caracas, is under a tense calm after an extraordinary weekend which saw U.S. forces seize Maduro and his wife. Now, his deputy, Delcy Rodriguez, the vice president, was sworn in as interim president of Venezuela on Monday. Evan Ellis, thank you so much for joining us with your expertise today. Very much appreciate it. I'm Clare Richardson in New York. We do have some coverage coming up from Capitol Hill with Secretary of State Marco Rubio. We'll bring that to you soon. Thanks for watching World News America. I'm Clare Richardson. U.S. lawmakers are receiving a closed-door briefing from Trump administration officials about the capture of President Nicolas Maduro and his wife. Now, the congressional agenda this week will likely be dominated by Venezuela, and there have already been disagreements among Republicans on what will happen next, both with policy toward Venezuela and with Nicolas Maduro himself. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for sharing your insights with us today. We've been speaking with former Congressman from Florida, Carlos Curbelo, and Melly Smith. Very much appreciate your time, as always.
Thank you.
Well, around the world and across the UK, you're watching BBC News. You're live with BBC News. The U.S. government has made it clear that getting access to Venezuelan oil is an important motivation for its actions in the country. President Trump has said Venezuela stole this oil from the United States, a claim disputed by legal experts. Ben Chu from BBC Verify has been looking into the facts. Landon Darrens with the Atlantic Council, thanks so much for sharing your expertise with us.
Great to be here.
Now, just before we go, we do want to just bring you that live footage from Capitol Hill, where we are expecting Secretary of State Marco Rubio to speak after he's been addressing congressional leaders on the events in Venezuela in the last few days. We'll be bringing you that coverage as soon as it comes out. You're watching BBC News. Thank you so much.
Hello there, good evening. There's more snow and ice to come in the forecast